So I just watched the Netflix original movie and it was really good. I wasn't prepared for that at all. I mean, I'd heard good things, but wasn't expecting to want to jump on here and do a review about it straight after.
Put the bucket back in the box.
Starring, amongst others, Madeline Brewer, Patch Darrah, Melora Waters and David Druid, directed by Daniel Goldhaber off of a screenplay by Isa Mazai. This is my review for Cam. Cam is the story of Alice, who goes by the name Lola online. She's a cam girl and she's determined to reach the top spot. She's just outside of the top 50 at the moment and she's edging closer to that 50 mark and nothing's going to stop her from getting there. She's driven, she's determined. But then things start going a little bit strange when an exact duplicate of her takes over her account online. And yeah, I wasn't really sure what to expect from Cam. I'd heard people saying good things, but I've kind of been burnt too many times, I think, with Netflix now. Their original movies aren't that great. There's a few exceptions, but for the most part, they're the likes of Bright movies that sound good on paper and then you watch them and they're really not that great. So yeah, I wasn't expecting a huge amount from Cam, and I was sceptical the whole way through. Well, I say the whole way through, for the first 20 minutes or so, because after that, I realised that this is actually a very, very solid film. It changes tone quite a lot in the second act, but that first act is actually pretty good as well. Like, it gets you pretty early on, and that's all down to how good Madeline Brewer is as Alice, and as Lola as well. She's Alice, she's Lola, and she's the duplicate version of Lola. She has a lot to do, and she has a lot to convey. She has to be very, very sexy for a lot of the movie. She has to be very, very creepy as well as things go on. She has to deal with a lot of emotional trauma as well. She sees some horrible, horrible things. And she has to deal with the anger. There's a lot of different emotions that this character has to go through for the space of this movie. And Madeline Brewer nails every single one of them. She is incredibly good in this film. In lesser hands, this could have fallen apart. But even in those early scenes, even when it's all a little bit sort of fun and flirty, she is still able to lend something to it, to make it seem more than it is. So when things really do kick off, when the movie takes a turn and it becomes something altogether different, how good she was early on makes it easy to invest in the plight that she experiences going forward. Yeah, incredible performance by her. She did really, really well. And it's for the best because she is the main person in this. She is in the show, she's in the film pretty much every scene, I think, she's in. Supporting cast members come and go. They're all pretty good. Like, there's nobody that lets the side down at all, but there's not really anybody that gets a huge amount to work with because it's her film. Patch Darrah is an interesting character. He's probably one of the exceptions who gets quite a bit to do, as does Alice's mother, actually. The two of them are pretty interesting characters, particularly the way Alice's mother finds out about what her daughter's doing and how she responds to it. It's done in a very interesting way, and I like that dynamic between the two of them. I wish we could have explored that a little bit more. We do get some closure at it towards the end. But yeah, those three characters are really the ones that we get the most time with, particularly Alice. The rest of the characters, they're fine, they're just more bit parts. They don't really contribute too much to the proceedings. Yeah, the premise of this one is really, really intriguing. As soon as this double comes on the screen, it's a real mystery that isn't exactly clearly solved by the time the film wraps up. A lot of this is left to your imagination, to your interpretation, to think of what exactly is going on. You can probably find a definitive answer. I mean, I don't want to talk spoilers here, but there was an interview where they said they were going to show something which would definitively say what this thing was. And yet, you do get a fair idea, but there is some room for manoeuvre there. There's some room for you to interpret things how you want to interpret them. And it really builds up the tension really, really well. I felt for Alice a lot through this because, as I say, she watches some horrible things and she watches herself do some horrible things. But it never really breaks her down. There's a moment where she loses it. There's a moment where she freaks out. But she remains more or less in control, and it's her smarts that end up giving her some kind of out into what's going on, is the solution to what's happening. It's all done through her and her drive. And it's her drive to succeed that I think works really well here. This doesn't paint camgirls in a bad light all over at all. It was written, I believe, by a former camgirl. It portrays the people that are in this industry as very driven, as very determined to succeed, to go up that ranking on the leaderboard. And I think it was a good thing that it was written by somebody who's got some experience with it, because it really gives it a sense of realism. Like the early scenes in this one, the first act where we're watching Alice as Lola do her thing, it feels genuine. And I've honestly not watched many cam videos at all. Never really been my thing, promise. But it's as I would expect it to be. As I say, it feels real, as does that drive to succeed and get subscribers as well. She wants more people to donate to her. She wants more people to watch her videos and her content. And, you know, as somebody doing on YouTube, not like I could relate to that at all, is it? Please subscribe. Please, just like and subscribe, please. So there is a lot that's relatable about here, whether you're a cam girl or not. it taps into what we are like in the modern world and how we're yearning for success and we're yearning for acceptance. There's a lot of that in here. It's a film with a lot more layers than I would expect. I don't think it's a perfect movie. It's got some problems, as there are many ways that Alice could have made it pretty clear that this isn't her doing the cam. She could have made that abundantly clear a number of times, but she doesn't. And I wish that had been touched on. I wish there was a way that she could have shown somebody at the police when they come over to really drill into them that what they're watching is live and it's not a pre-record. That kind of fell by the wayside. And the policeman as well, immediately sort of making pervy, sexy comments towards her. Like, it just felt like they were there as an obstacle just because the plot needed them to be an obstacle. Because if the police were to investigate this, the story would wrap up kind of quite quickly. But they're small problems. For the most part, this is a movie I enjoyed a lot more than I was expecting to. It was Blumhouse, that name on there, that caught my attention and made me watch it. And they've done some really good things this year. I mean, they've also done Truth and Dare, so it's not been a perfect year for them. But when I see their name attached to something now, it makes me take notice because they're putting out some good films. And they've done it on Netflix as well. They've done what not a lot of people can do, which is make an original film for Netflix and make it good. So I hope there's more of these to come because Cam was a nice surprise. I'm going to give Cam an 8 out of 10. Have you seen Cam? If so, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. As I say, I wasn't planning on doing another upload today, but I just watched this and it felt like one I had to talk about. Give Netflix its due. They did a good original movie, so I did want to give it some attention. Do hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of them. You can follow me on Twitter at JoeJulians. That's also my name on Stardust, a great app. You should be on there as well. Fun app. Look out for more reviews coming soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.